Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Autodesk Virtual Academy, brought to you by KETIV Technologies. I wish I had some kind of jingle to make all of this start. That would be really cool. But anyways, I'm Nigel Mbai, Customer Success Manager here at KETIV Technology, and your host for today's AVA and all AVAs pretty much. So today is a continuation of a webinar series that we've been doing for a couple of years, highlighting some of our favorites out around this time, March, April, May of every year. And we've had product managers from Autodesk join us to, give us the guided tour around some of their favorite additions to the software. And this year, like the last 2 years, we have Irvin Hayes Jr. on the line. How's it going,
great,
Irvin?
Nigel. How are you?
Good, good. It's probably a little warmer over here than it is over there in Michigan, isn't it? So
yeah, the great Michigan weather. Wait 2 minutes and the weather will change.
There you go. So today we're going to be going over some of the newest additions to Vault 2020 here with Irvin. Last week we had Inventor, so if you missed that, definitely go to our YouTube channel and take a look at that video. And next week we'll also have AutoCAD 2020, what's new as well. So definitely be on the lookout for that invitation hitting your inboxes probably about the same time next week. So with that, if anyone has any questions while we're going through this presentation, go ahead and type those into the questions panel at any time. I'll make sure to go ahead and answer those for you with the help of Irvin, of course. With that, let's go ahead and pass it on to Irvin. Irvin, take it away.
Thank you, Nigel. Appreciate the invite, and I appreciate everyone who is able to join us today or who will be reviewing this video in the future. So welcome to Autodesk Vault 2020. This year we've done a lot to try and improve in areas in which our customers have asked for enhancements, as well as a lot of the things coming from the Idea Station and some one-on-one conversations at AU, and conversations that has come through some of our on-site ITF events. So let's jump right into it and see what we have covered for 2020 release. I'll bypass that page. So Vault 2020, what we've done here is that we have addressed 3 different areas for application enhancements or Vault enhancements that a lot of our customers have asked for. Automating design creation is one, accelerating documentation, and the streamlining of collaboration. We're going to cover each of these areas and the features that we've done that covers each of these areas here in the future slides. So let's jump into automate design creation. Copy design is one of the things that we've done as an enhancement to the 2020 release. Previous versions of copy design, we have found from customers, yourselves, and a lot of the feedback that we've gotten is that the old copy design has not been intuitive. The dialogues and things of that nature were a little bit confusing, and therefore we needed to rework it to make one of the most used feature inside of Vault more intuitive and easier to use, as well as add some enhancements in there that we could as we were making these changes. With that, copy design in 2020 has a new menu and toolbar customization. This change was due to the fact that the icons that were there previously were, again, a little bit confusing. We changed it to make it match the Vault client to give some customizations, as well as again, make it a little bit more of an intuitive interface. We made the copy design dialog modeless, which means that while you're in the copy design dialog and you have added an assembly and or quite a few files to copy, you can go back and forth between copy design dialog back to the Vault client. This ability gives you an option to get a little bit more information on the files that you're about to copy or reuse or what have you in the copy design dialog. You can then search around. Maybe you want to add a few files. Maybe you want to find a file that you want to replace a subcomponent with. With this ability, therefore, again, you can jump between the copy design dialog, which was modal before, back to the Vault client, because now it is modeless. You can do that by right-clicking on any file, and you select the Go To Source folder, which will take you to the Vault client and take you directly to the file in which you have selected in the copy design dialog. That's what we're showing you with the image on the right side. There's also an ability to go to the destination folder, meaning after the copy design operation is complete, when those copied files are done and they're inside a Vault, you can right-click on the file, select Go to Destination Folder, and it will take you to the newly copied file inside of the Vault client. Other things we've enhanced here is accessibility and shortcut keys that were missing before. Better attachment handling. So if you are familiar with an old copy design or the copy design that exists inside of Vault Basic, we've added a folder that shows your documentation files, your IDWs or DWGs associated with your parent file. We removed bound object options, or we added a remove bound object option. What this is the ability to assign an item to a newly copied assembly or parts. The reason why you want to remove those is they're not completely up to date from the copy operation. You need to open them up inside of Inventor to get them up to date with all of the changes that you've made through the copy design operation before you assign them to an item. New file names will appear after the copy. So for those of you who are using numbering schemes, which you've seen before, is that we won't show you the numbering scheme before the copy operation is complete. We show you a bunch of pound signs as the copy design name. The reason why that's so is because we don't allocate or pull those numbers beforehand. That would reserve those numbers and cause them not to be able to be used. But after you've completed the copy design operation, the copy design dialog will now show you the newly assigned names based on the numbering scheme that you have selected. Next, again, our goal was to make the whole interface more intuitive and easy to navigate. So what we've done here, again, the first was changing the documentation folder or adding it for the drawings. We've added the folder view and the list view to the main grid. These views were previously available in a panel that the copy design dialog had, but the panel was not quite user-friendly. It was very small, and it actually didn't allow for a lot of good operations that our users wanted to use. Therefore, we put these two views into the main grid of copy design. With that, in the list view, now you have some added column filtering, and you can then start looking for specific parts or files or properties with specific values that you wanted to see only those, and then filter it as you see needed prior to executing the copy design. We've added an ability to clear the root node, and what that actually means is that if you have a root file inside of the copy design dialog, or if you have multiples, you can actually choose to just remove one of those root file nodes from the copy design dialog without having to shut it down and start your copy design all over again. And the panels that I previously referred to, we've hidden them by default. We actually didn't remove them, but we hid them. And the reason why we hid them is we wanted to take it out of the user's face in order to have the user utilize the main grid more often. You might find that you will never open those particular panels anymore because everything that we've done is now capable inside of the main grid. So some other enhancements that we've made here is you can edit the destination name and the path name right in the main grid. You can change the numbering scheme or the naming scheme for the files right in the main grid. Find and replace enhancements is one of the things that we're showing you here in the image to the right. You can do that right in the main grid. As before, you can only do that in one of the panels. And if you do a find, we'll find, based on your criteria, all the files that match that particular find data or what you've inputted. Much like you probably see in Excel as an example. We've also added an ability to do a copy branch to command, which basically what it does is if you're taking a subfolder and the files within that folder structure, and you want to copy that to a new destination, but keep the folder structure, the copy branch to command will do that for you. We've enhanced some pre-checks inside of the copy design, meaning that before we'll actually execute the copy design, if some of our pre-checks will fail, for instance, you don't have security access to a particular folder, maybe you've named a file into a folder that already has a file name by that name, or there's some other things that might happen. The pre-checks will warn you and it will not execute your copy design in order for you to fix those particular errors prior to the execution. Another big enhancement was after the fact is that when your copy design dialog is then complete, or your copy operation is complete, you can export the copy operation for your own records. You may want to know, well, what did I actually copy? What did I reuse? What did I replace? maybe something of what did I exclude from my copy operation. You can now export that and save it off and view it later inside of Excel as it exports out to an Excel style file format. So moving from there, what we have now is going into more productivity for the Vault client and then our Inventor add-in. So from inside of the Inventor add-in, you have an option now to go to the Vault folder straight from the Vault browser within inside of Inventor. You can update the part number by default during a rename process. Is a different access or a different feature as well. And then the factory file numbering scheme is now supported for those factory users. So before we jump into the optimization, maybe this is a quick part here. Let me jump into one of the questions that was asked. Does the report tell you if a copy design failed? The answer to that is if it failed prior or after the copy design, it will. Prior, you don't have an option to export I don't think you have an option to export the report. It's only post operation. So if there is a failure within there, you should see it within the post report. All right, so hopefully that has answered that question. So let's move on then to optimizing the design documentation. Within this particular area of enhancements, we've added a new property called Has Drawing. A lot of customers and feedback that we have received in various different locations indicates that we need the ability to know when a part has an associated drawing to it. So now we've added this property called Has Drawing, which will tell you if the latest version of your file has an associated drawing to it or not. You can see this in the image to the right where the Has Drawing icon appears for those that have a drawing, and then there is no icon if there is no drawing associated. This makes it easier as you cycle through the life cycles and maybe going into the release process or prior to going into the release process, you want to make sure that the drawing is up to date. Therefore, you can look at this property to help you out. Further enhancements went into our publishing of 2D PDFs. When we first released the publishing of 2D PDFs, we only released 2D drawings on the release process or the release state transition. Now, due to a lot of the feedback through that first enhancements of the PDF publishing, we've added the option now you can publish a PDF at any lifecycle state transition that you choose. Or you can do the publishing on demand. So you can right click on a file or drawing. They're still only 2D, but you can right click on one and say publish a 2D PDF. This is administrative control, so you can actually turn this off if you want as an administrator, but your users, if needed a PDF inside of Vault, they can right click on one and say publish it on demand. So this makes it more flexible at any point in time if you have some states where, for instance, you wanted to share a PDF externally for review, and maybe that's the only time you want to create a PDF. Well, now you can do that prior to going to the release state of the file. We're going to move over to streamlining collaboration with Vault and BIM 360. So today we have Vault that talks to a lot of different personas throughout the industry, whether it be in the manufacturing space or in some of the AEC space as well. So we try and handle or communicate with drafters, mechanical engineers, electrical engineers, and so on and so forth. And Vault is a central depository for that type of data. So we're trying to connect to all of these different resources or these personas. Prior to the 2020 release, you probably have seen this particular image before. We first started off with getting feedback or allowing the Vault user to get feedback by using the shared views command. This is the image on the far left. This pushed an image out to the Autodesk viewer. That particular image could be viewed by anyone who had the link to the particular file or the view, and then they can comment on it, mark it up, and then provide feedback again. But this information was not pushed back to the Vault per se as a file, but the user who pushed the file to the shared view would see it in a panel inside the Vault client. As a further enhancement, we went to delivering files to Autodesk Drive. So there was a synchronization process or a publishing process that would do that to Autodesk Drive. And then we moved forward to enhancing Project Sync to collaborating through Fusion 360. The Project Sync would then just go back and forth and pull files based off of criteria. But in 2020, now we have added that ability of Project Sync using BIM 360 or Fusion Team. The whole goal here is that you start off with information inside of your vault. And say, for instance, your engineer needed to communicate usually to any of the third parties outside of the company. Sometimes they would send this information either through email or some other means, Dropbox, Box.net, the old Buzzsaw, if you're familiar with that, or FTP. So these caused a little bit of disconnected information going all over the place. It wasn't controlled. You actually don't know what you possibly sent over or who sent over what to these third parties that are outside of the vault and outside of your company's firewall. So our goal here is to give a little bit of better of a process around the synchronization or sharing of data through Vault. So with that, now you can connect Vault through the Project Sync utility to going back and forth to BIM 360. You can filter on things that would go to BIM 360 to be shared, but your outside contractors or consultants or people you have some collaboration with can then see that information and either use it or provide some other feedback in other means. So what do we mean by this? So what happens here? Collaboration with Project Sync is bi-directional exchange of CAD documents, and it is secure. So if you're only given this access to people who need the information, you're doing that by allowing them or giving them access to your Fusion Team, or in this case, BIM 360 site, and therefore they're secure and no one outside can actually get in unless you have given them access. You can share information selectively. So inside of the dialogues of Project Sync, you set up a criteria which files you want to share and when they are shared. So therefore the sync happens automatically in the background, and this makes it easier for you to create new projects, share things in a different manner based on the project, and then where you want to share them between Fusion and or BIM 360. So what happens, so moving on from there, additional enhancements in the collaboration tools. Excuse me, I've lost my mouse here, sorry. We have added support for Inventor read-only mode. So if you are familiar with, or if you were in last week's webinar with our Inventor team and our Inventor product manager, I think Garen did that particular webinar. We've added a feature to Inventor called Inventor read-only mode. Vault now supports that read-only mode. So when you install the Vault client, it will detect whether Inventor View is there or Inventor is there. And if Inventor is there, we will switch our client to use the Inventor read-only mode so that you don't consume the license unnecessarily of Inventor. So this happens when you do a view in window and you're viewing the native file format, or if you want to open up a file but not open it in a read-write fashion. Another enhancement for our large enterprise customers is that we have added client language switching for multiple languages on one install. A lot of our products, such as Inventor, AutoCAD, have already done this in a few releases before. Vault Client now allows you to do this. So therefore, if you're in a situation where multiple users are sharing a PC, but they are in different, they speak different languages, you can install multiple language packs on top of the client, and the user selects an icon based on the language they want to see in the client. Keep in mind here, this language switching is only for the UI. The data inside of Vault will be in whatever language it was used to input that data. So only the UI of the client will change languages. We've opened up support for our Thin client to several different browsers now. Previously, we were only supporting Internet Explorer. Now we will support other browsers such as Microsoft Edge, Chrome, and I think we also support probably Firefox. I can't remember what we put on the system requirements, but we've opened up that support to other browsers now for the Thin client. For our large enterprise customers also, we have added an enhancement that will allow you to generate numbers from an external source outside of Vault. So this is a customizable enhancement. It's inside of the Vault SDK for more information, but you pretty much set this up to a centralized numbering generator And then when Vault goes to try and want a new number from a numbering scheme, it will actually reach out to this particular centralized numbering generator or whatever you choose, and then it will pull in that particular number from that outside source instead of using our own numbering scheme or numbering scheme within inside of Vault. So I know I've probably, wow, I think I've reached this quite fast, but a lot of our information and our things that we enhance inside of the Vault product is enhanced based on your feedback and your participation in our beta programs, as well as in our ideas page. So we do encourage you to participate in the beta feedback forum. Throughout the year, we will have separate webinars or mini webinars that talk about the features that are coming up in the future releases. And we want your feedback early. So if you're not a participant in the beta program, please sign up now. You can see the URL on the left side. And our idea stations is also another source of information that we get ideas from. What you'll see throughout this 2020 release, we have incorporated a lot of the posts or ideas that are posted by you on our idea station. So we're monitored quite frequently, and as a matter of fact, what you'll see is that I'm the one that's on there asking questions or clarifying questions when you post your idea request so that we understand the idea completely. So with that, let's jump in and I'll probably see if I can answer a few questions. I will answer the first one from Tim. I couldn't map the drawing property I am missing. Am I missing something? I'm not sure which drawing property you're referring to, or has drawing. I couldn't map the has drawing property. Yes, because that's not a property you can map. Yeah, it's not a property you can map. It's a on-the-fly property that is evaluated when you go into the grid, so it's not a mappable property. We'll jump over to Radu. Can we download multiple files at once through the Thin client? No, that enhancement has not been put into the Vault Thin client as of yet. Joseph, when is 2020 ready to download? Now, Joseph, if you're a administrator of your company's licenses, you should already have it in your account, so they're all there and available for download. Then moving on to David. Any updates to items or change order interfaces or options? It's a pretty good timely question for that. We did not do any updates to items and change orders with this release. However, as I stated before, make sure you're participating in our Vault beta program, because we'll probably start talking about items and change orders and things that we want to see, or you might want to see enhanced in those areas. So there'll be some questions around that. All right, so with that, I think that is all the questions. I did answer Tim's there about the has drawing property.
Yeah, there were a couple I answered in the background just via chat as well, Irvin, and I can kind of go over those a little bit as well. Let's see. PDFs on items, on item lifecycle state generation. I know that's something you guys haven't put directly into the application yet, but that is something that KETIV has done for some people. So if you are, if you really like the PDF generation on lifecycle state change, and I know a lot of people do, but you are using items and not file-based lifecycle control, let us know, and we can see what we can do to kind of sort that out. And we have for some of our friends as well.
Jeremy has asked another question. Is there any work being done on categories so that when you switch a category or a file, that it will automatically change the lifecycle associated to it? We have not. We've seen that request a lot, and I know exactly what you mean. So if one category has a set of lifecycle states, and then you switch to another category that has a different set of lifecycle states, we keep the file in the old category's lifecycle state without switching it. I think we have more questions on what should be the appropriate change there, and we have not gotten to that, but we will, when we look into that, that will be another set of questions that we will ask on our beta site, probably via webinars or through the beta forum. So thanks for that interest. Keep looking out for it inside of our beta. Edward, can you elaborate on the centralized numbering generation? would that potentially grab the next number from a SQL database or something like that? So let me switch back to what you're referring to, which is this slide here. So the answer to your question is yes. You, as a customizable developer, for instance, that needs to customize this feature, there are things in the SDK that pretty much says where are we getting the source number being generated. So if you are generating that source number from a SQL database, an Excel sheet, or something else, or some other system, yes, it can grab it from there. It's all customizable by you at that point. We just need to know the source and where we're getting it from. I believe in the SDK, there is a sample application there that you could use to generate those numbers. So we show you how to start it off with, or give you an example of how to start it off with and how it works, and then you customize it from there. So it can be SQL. Roger, is there a Vault property for tracking a DWG sheet set? No, there is not. I would probably say if you can put on our idea station what problem you're trying to solve with this request, we can look at it if it's not already there. And again, for anyone who's posting on the idea station, make sure you particularly give us what problem you're trying to solve versus, hey, just put this in here, because we may try and solve that particular problem in a different way.
Yeah, and I found that to be super useful, Irvin, too, is when people are like, oh, do you have this functionality? And my answer is generally, oh, why do you need that? What obstacle do you see that you need to overcome that you think you need that functionality to achieve? And a lot of times the functionality doesn't exist, but there's something else that completely solves that problem that's already in the software.
Absolutely, and it's quite common that happens. Or we have the conversation and make you think of the solution in a different manner. So that's absolutely true. So let me jump over to Joseph's question. Is there a way to generate numbers just for frame generated members? I believe the answer to that is no. I think we'd have to get back to you on that one, but I think
I know that they changed some of the naming convention for frame generator, that you can customize some of that stuff. We kind of went over a little bit of that in the Inventor 2020 presentation last week. So Joseph, if you want to take a look at that, I know they added some stuff in, I believe, 2019.1, and then I think elaborated on it a little bit in 2020. So right. I would look there.
Yep. Let's move to Joseph. Oh no, David. Sorry. Is the numbering generator available in Vault in the Basic client for Vault Basic? The answer is no. This is a Vault Professional feature only. Joseph, we have unique file names enabled in Vault, and we have to manually change the frame generator file names. How do I fix this? I think for that, we'd probably just jump out of this conversation that's kind of out of this particular webinar and probably have a separate conversation with.
I think they fixed that in 19.1 Inventor, Joseph. So let's have that conversation offline. You have my email address. Go ahead and shoot me an email. And I don't know if you guys are that far or what version you guys are on, but let's take that offline.
All right. Jumping to Jeremy, he says the links in your slide for Vault Idea and Beta don't seem to work. The one thing I can tell you for the Vault Beta, the link, for some odd reason, I don't know why, but the Vault Beta, that link particularly is case sensitive. So make sure you put in a capital V and a capital B. The Vault Idea one is probably a capital V and a capital I. So try those two, and I'll have to adjust these slides to that.
If you Google... Yeah, if you Google those titles, they'll pop up too. So that's generally how I get there. Is I just type Vault Ideas page and it sends me there, and then Vault Beta Community, it'll send me there too. So.
All right, good deal. All right, with that, I think we've answered them all.
Yeah, let me make sure there's nothing on the YouTube side of things as well, Irvin. I know that we're looking at the Zoom webinar stuff. But not YouTube. So let me go ahead and double check there, make sure there's nope, there is nothing there. So I'll give everyone another 15 or seconds to answer to ask any more questions that you have. I'll just make a couple of announcements here. Next week we will be going over a very similar webinar, except for AutoCAD 2020. AutoCAD being one of the most used softwares in the entire world. They add new things every year. And some of the stuff in AutoCAD I'm really excited for in regards to things like dark mode and stuff like that. So definitely stay tuned for that webinar next week. If you got the invitation for this one, you'll have the invitation for that one in your inbox, I believe, next Wednesday as well. So keep an eye out for that. This webinar is being recorded, so we will make sure that it gets posted on our YouTube channel probably shortly after. I don't know if it'll get done today, but it should be before, I guess, end of day tomorrow when it should be up. So definitely take a look there if you need to review it, maybe if you missed the first half of it, so on and so forth. Same thing with the rest of our webinars. We have like 200 or so on our YouTube channel now about pretty much everything in the Autodesk manufacturing space, from just general inventor usage all the way into advanced simulation. So definitely take a look at that. And with that, let's go ahead and answer these last couple of questions, Irvin. And
absolutely. So let's jump to Patrick. Can we search for quantity on an item in any top assembly? I'm assuming you're talking about quantity on the parts within that assembly, or are you referring to quantity that I'm not sure exactly which quantity you're referring to, so maybe you can elaborate on that in another question, and we'll come back to it. Tom has a question. Late in the webinar, sorry about that. All right, no problem. What about having Vault fully index IDW files? Currently, it won't read text off of an IDW. I have posted this in the Inventor Idea Station and got zero traction. I believe that it probably would have to start on the Inventor side. I think, Tom, if you could probably email Nigel with a link to that particular idea post, we can I can take a look at it and see what is going on from the Inventor side, and I can post a response on that particular Idea Station post. But usually what happens is they have to have the ability for us to index within it. I know we can index quite a bit on the properties, obviously, but I don't think that content indexing works inside of IDWs. So I can take a look at it. Again, okay, thank you. I see you posted that there. Thanks for that ID. I'll take a look and I'll try and respond into that post and let you know as a quick follow-up.
Yep, and I'm just trying to decipher Patrick's question here as well. Can we search for quantity of an item in any top assembly? If it's the quantity of a particular component in an assembly that you're looking for, I don't think that's like a searchable thing, but it is visible if you want to pull it up. You can look at the bill of materials in the item if you're item based. And then there's also some ways to look at the quantity of parts in your assembly. Is that with that's not data standards. What is it, Irvin? With the CAD BOM tab?
Yeah, that's data standards, actually.
Okay, yeah. So in data standards, you get a CAD BOM tab next to the visualization for Vault, and that lists parts lists and stuff. So just an FYI on that one. But Patrick, if you have any more questions, definitely feel free to email me, and we'll go ahead and take care of that. And we'll take these last, I think, 2 questions.
I think it's just one from Tim. Yeah. All right, Tim. Hi, Tim. I know Tim. Nice guy. All right, using iLogic, can you loop through static text in a drawing and conditionally push it to inventor properties that will index in Vault?
We'd have to look at it. I know the person who's monitoring this on the back end, like the recording and stuff, is Eric Paul, one of our programmers. And Tim, I will have him look at that. He just sent me a Slack with maybe in all capital letters. So meaning he's thinking about it right now. So Tim, reach out to Irvin. I don't know if you have the answer off the top of your head, but if it's possible, Tim, we can try to discover that for you and see if we can.
Yeah, and if you guys can't, so I don't know if it's possible right off the top of my head, but I know the iLogic gurus here on the inventor side, and I can ask them to answer that question, and we can get back to you.
Oh, it's a yes, you can.
Oh, so he already answered it.
Wow. So Tim, it's not a question of if it is. Tim's just letting us know it's possible.
Oh, okay.
Nice. Okay. So yeah, that is one way to do it, I guess. Cool. All right.
Very good.
I think that's just about everything. Again, I'd just like to make that announcement. Stay tuned next week for the AutoCAD 2020 webinar as well. I'm really excited for that one. These are my favorite 3 webinars of the year, Inventor, Vault, and AutoCAD. These are the best way, in my opinion, to learn the new things in the software. This, as well as the white papers that you guys release, the blog posts that you guys release every year. Every time I see those in my inbox, I'm just like, let me start reading now. And figure out what exciting stuff you guys have put in the software. I'm really excited about the PDF generation on any lifecycle state change. In this release, it's something that our customers asked a lot about over the last couple of years. So definitely, I'd like to thank Irvin and the Vault team for working on that one for us and getting it up and running. So certainly excited for that. Let's, hopefully Irvin will have you back when you guys have maybe a couple of updates, or maybe for the 2021 releases that's coming out. So
always happy to be back or come back.
Yeah, certainly. So again, I'd like to thank everybody for showing up today. We'll see you again next week. Everyone, take it easy. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.